Hello, everybody, and welcome to me giving you like a basic guitar lesson. I've noticed in my videos before that I say so and a lot. I'm sorry. It is something that I'm going to have to try to. Uh, let's see, I just did it. It's something that I'm going to have to try to recognize and kind of eliminate because it does get annoying after a little while. But if I start doing it, just know that I'm sorry. It's not something that I can help. It's just the way that I talk. And if I can't eliminate it completely, like I just did it right there, didn't even mean to. If I can't eliminate it completely, then you're just gonna have to get used to it. But let's get let's get started. So the first lesson that I'm going to teach you is basically the parts of the guitar, and then how to just kind of play around with the guitar and get used to it. And I'll show you how to start your first like couple of songs. They won't be much. They'll be like Mary Had a Little Lamb and Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, but it'll be something to get you started. The next video will be a little more in depth, and I'll show you how to read tablature, and then we'll really get started. The one thing that I want you to remember is that starting a guitar or a piano or any other musical instrument, you're going to have to practice. If you don't have the time to practice, you might as well not do it. Because if you really actually want to play the thing, like averagely, you have to practice at least like a couple hours a day. Um, it's not it's not something that you can just pick up unless you are one of those really gifted musical people who can literally pick up anything and play it like within seconds. Then this is not something that you're just going to pick up and know how to do right off the bat. It's something you're going to have to practice doing. I've been playing for 21 years and I'm still nowhere near as good as most people, mostly because I don't practice as much as I used to. Um, I don't. I'm not a shredder. I can't go as fast as people who play metal music and stuff. I'm not. I'm not that kind of player. If you want to be that kind of player, you're going to have to practice a lot. But I can get you started in enjoying the guitar, and then teaching you intermediate, anywhere from beginner to like intermediate guitar, and chords and theory and things like that. But when you want to start picking up speed, you're gonna have to go somewhere else because I that's not my thing. I can teach you blues. I can teach you slow. I can teach you finding your rhythm and listening to the music, but I can't teach you speed. It's just something that you have to practice. And even going slow at first is something you have to practice. So I can't stress enough. I said all of that to say again, you have to practice. I get a lot of people who say, I want to play guitar. I want to learn how to play guitar. Will you teach me? I go, yeah, I'll teach you. Come on over. We'll do a lesson. This is when I was like cool with people coming over and I would give lessons and stuff. And they would get over here and I would teach them something. And I'd be like, okay, well, go home, practice it. Next time you come over, you can show me what you got, and we'll go from there. And then they come back the next time, and they haven't really practiced at all. The only time that they really practice is like when they're sitting here with me. You can't do that. So again, I'm saying this so much because it really is that important. Practice. Okay, enough of that. So the first thing that I want to teach you is the parts of the guitar. So this is an electric guitar. If you have an acoustic guitar, that's fine. It's basically the same. The only difference is you have a sound hole instead of pickups. Unless you have like an acoustic electric, you might have a pickup in the sound hole. But that's really basically the only difference. On an electric guitar, you have pickups. Every electric guitar is different. Mine has 3 single coil pickups. You could have 2 humbuckers. You could have a humbucker, a single coil, You can just anything, but the properties are basically the same. Down here, you have the bridge. The bridge is where you feed the strings through, and then they run up the full length of the guitar over the fretboard. Every metal stripe you see here, all of these are the frets themselves. When you go to play a note, if I say to play a note on the 3rd fret, then you would actually go behind the 3rd piece of metal. Not in front, but behind. In front would be the 4th fret. You go behind that piece of metal and hold down, and then that'll be the 3rd fret. And then you go up. The strings come up to the keys, the tuning keys, and they get wrapped around. Well, if you're going to do your own strings, I would say like a good 4 wraps per string would be good. You don't really have to worry about that right now. I would say if you're just starting out, get someone who actually does play and knows how to do this to do it for you and show you how in person, and then you can start doing it for yourself. But a good general rule of thumb is like 4 to 5 wraps on the thinner strings, and then 3 to 4 wraps on the thicker strings. So it just gives it a good balance. The string catches good, and you don't have a lot of excess. If your string breaks, a lot of people want to try to make a new knot in the string and just save the string. If it breaks, you have to replace it. Don't even worry about trying to have excess in case it breaks. You can like lengthen it. That's not going to work. Like it will, but it's very not good to do. A little bit of science behind guitars is the reason the strings can actually make noise is because they're vibrating. When you tighten the strings, they vibrate faster. It's the same reason that if you go closer to the bridge, you're shortening that distance that the vibrations run, so you get a higher tone. I'm telling you all of this, not that you really need to know, but just it's something to keep in mind for if you ever want to go deep into fixing your guitar or studying parts of the guitar and stuff like that. So we have bridge, we have strings. If you're on an acoustic, you'll have a sound hole. If you're on electric like me, you'll have pickups. You have the fretboard with the frets. Every fret is this piece of metal running across the fretboard. You play behind it to get the sound that you want. And then you have the nut, which I didn't mention. This is like a saddle or a keeper, a seat for the strings. It keeps them spaced and keeps them up off of the fretboard, so that when you're playing it open, like you don't get like a just a dead sound like that. If you didn't have the nut, that's basically all you would hear, and the guitar wouldn't work. So it keeps it up off the fretboard. I think that's it. The headstock holds the keys and all that crap. On acoustic electrics or electric guitars, you will have the input for the cable. Then you will have volume controls here on electric, or maybe over here. On an acoustic electric, it'll usually be like on the top part. So that's it. That's all of the parts of the guitar. Now comes like a little bit of the fun part. Like I said before, when I tell you to play the 3rd fret, I want you to count the number of the metal lines. Okay, these metal things on your fretboard. Okay, so if I say play the 3rd fret, you'll go 1, 2, 3, and then you'll go back behind it a little bit, and then hold down like pretty hard, and then hit the string that you're on. Which all of these first songs will be on the bottom string, so you don't have to worry about doing multiple string things just yet. The first songs I'm going to put in this video, they'll pop up on the screen at the end of the video, are 2 tablatures. And tablature is a way of writing guitar music down. And I will show you how to read it before you get to the end of the video, don't worry. But You'll have two of them. One will be Mary Had a Little Lamb, like a very simplified version, and then Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, again a very simplified version. And I'll just kind of go over those with you now. It'll be and Twinkle Twinkle Little Star will be very easy. Like I said, at the end of the video, there'll be tablature for it. You can play them with one finger, or you can play them with multiple fingers if you want to. You can skip the fingers that you use if you want to. All that you're trying to do right now, none of that matters, because all you're trying to do right now is get the right pattern, hitting the frets in the right order. And that's all you're trying to do. It doesn't matter which finger you play it with, but all you're trying to do is get the right pattern down. When you get the right pattern down, you can go through all of the strings and do the same thing. So I'm going to have you start on the first string, which is the very bottom string. You count the strings from the bottom up. So I'll have you start on the first string, and you'll do and play the whole thing through. And then after you really got it, you can start going to the other string. So go one more string up and do play the whole thing, and then do it again on the next string up. Play the whole thing, and do it all the way up to the top string, which is the sixth string, because again, you count from the bottom up. This is important when I start showing you how to read tablature. Because my tablature, instead of having the letters that correspond to the note that the strings are tuned in, I just have numbers. So all you have to do is say, okay, I need to go to the first string to the 5th fret, or I need to go to the first string to the 4th fret, or whatever. Other than that, I think we're just ready for me to show you how to read tablature. And I'm going to do that in two parts. First of all, I'm going to try to explain it without showing you what I'm talking about real quick. But it's easier for me to show you, so I will have like another part of this video that I'll get a picture of tablature and a guitar and show you like how they work out. But basically, if I had a piece of paper in front of me, the top line on that piece of paper would be the sixth, or would be the first string. So it would be the very bottom string. And then the bottom line, there will be 6 lines, and on the bottom line, that would be the 6th string. This one here. So if you're looking at the piece of paper and you take your guitar and you look at it like this, where your strings are upside down, you can match that piece of paper to the strings on the guitar. And it's super simple. It's not hard at all. And I will show you how to do that right now. So in this picture, you can see what I was talking about. Here we've taken the guitar, and how you would normally see it is the other way around. That would be the right side up. This string right here would be the top string. So let's say I flipped it, right? I flipped it to where it was correctly orientated, or orientated, or whatever, however you say that word. Then the top string would be here. That top string would be the bottom, to be the 6th row right here, the 6th line right here. So to make it easier, just turn that guitar upside down, and there you have your tablature. the first string is on the top, just like the first string is now on top on the guitar. It's tablature. All it is you've taken your guitar and laid it down in front of you, basically. So when I say number 4 on the first line, that means the 4th fret, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you'll play right here behind it on the first string, which is the very top one. So you'll play the 4th fret, and then you'll play the 2nd fret, which is here, and then you'll play when it says 0. That means you don't play any of the frets. You just take your hand off of the guitar or off of the fretboard. And then when it says 2, you'll put it back on 2, and I'm pretty sure you can figure out the rest of it from there. This is, like I said, a very simple version of Mary Had a Little Lamb. There are actually more notes to it, but I figured that, like, if you wanted to show this to your kid, then it would be easier for them to learn like a very simplified version first. And it's also good for grown-ups who are just starting out, just to get your feet wet. I am not belittling you by any means. It's just that when you start at a beginner level, you do beginner things. So this is what we're doing. So you're going to learn this, and then there's going to be another tab. I'm going to have this in the video, so don't worry. And then there'll be another tab for Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. It will also only be this top line. And like I said, when you get these patterns down, when you get this pattern of numbers down, and you get the rhythm in your head, the rhythm is something that you can hear yourself. You've all heard the songs. So these are not hard songs to get the rhythm to. You can just hear it in your head, and you have the numbers here to tell you which note's which. So da 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 da. And it's extremely easy. But when you get the pattern down on this line, you can go to the next string and do the same pattern, and then the next string and do the same pattern. Just keep going through every string and doing the same pattern, and that will help you get the feel for the whole fretboard. Okay, because when you're playing down here, it's really easy to grip. It's really easy to hold on to the fretboard. When you get up here, your fingers are stretching all across that fretboard, and sometimes you can have problems with that when you're not practicing. So I want you to go from here, learn the whole pattern, and get it to where you can play it pretty much without having to read it, and then do it on every string all the way up so that you can get a feel for the fretboard. And you can also do the same thing with Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. And that's it. That's all I'm really going to show you in this video. Like I said, very basic, very simple. This is a beginner thing. If you are kind of thinking to yourself, well, this is stupid, then this is not your video. You want to try something better, then wait for the next video. And I will start getting into playing a little riff, and I'm going to show you your first chord and how you can cheat playing Tom Petty's Free Fallin'. And I will do that in the next video. But first I want you to do this though. I want you to do this, learn this, do it on every string, and then learn the next tablature, which I'll put in the video, and learn that on every string. Get used to this, and next week I will put out another video. I'll show you the chord for Free Fallin', how to cheat it, where you never have to change chords. You only have to do a sustained and a pull off, which I think takes it down to a diminished or something. I can't think of it off the top of my head. But basically, it's just a D sustained to a D diminished, I think. And it's a very easy cheat for playing that song. And I think you'll like that. And I'm going to show you the very first blues riff that I ever learned, the one that my mom taught me how to play. And we'll get into like some better beginner stuff for you then. So if you didn't like this video because it was too beginner, that's cool. Just wait for the next one. And as always, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and share all these videos. I'm trying to get up to that 1,000 viewer mark. I'm only at like 257 or something. So I have a long way to go. Sharing would help me out a lot. Don't forget that I have a Patreon. My link will be like on the end credits, and you can go there and help me out. And yeah, that's it. So I'll talk to you next time. Bye.